Joy Where Truth Matters. I'm Keith Downey, your host, and today we're joined by two dynamic individuals, Dan Palmieri and Anthony McCullough from JMJ Mission. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony, I think you might be on mute there, but I guess to kind of start things off, and maybe we'll start with you, Dan. For those that might be unfamiliar with JMJ Mission, tell us a little about it and what you guys do.
So basically, we are a Catholic online and in-person team, evangelization team, and our goal is to spread the gospel by all means, as St. Paul said, one soul at a time. We were inspired by Fulton Sheen, actually, so I'm happy you just had mentioned him just a few moments ago because of the way he used to reach people through mass media, through his telecasts. You know, we're looking today at 2024, and we're like, we have so many more avenues by which to reach people and evangelize. So we have a podcast, we have Instagram, TikTok, we make YouTube videos, and the biggest thing we do is our live events. So we give like parish missions and parish talks, and also youth retreats. So it's a lot of fun. Happy to be doing it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Now, Anthony, what was kind of like the whole why? Like, what started this whole this JMJ mission? I think you're on mute there still. Let's try it again. Well, while we figure that out, Dan, why don't you jump in there?
Sure. So basically, I was a teacher. Still am. We are both teachers, actually, high school theology teachers. And I'm looking at basically that we have, summers, weekends, things like that. And I'm thinking, we had conversions, myself, Anthony, and two other friends of ours in college. And I'm thinking, we have extra time. We could be like reaching people. Maybe we could make YouTube videos. Maybe we could do talks and things like that. And I didn't think anything of it. But then I did a novena to Our Lady under the title of the Miraculous Medal. And on the 8th day of the novena, I had a student actually tell me I should be a motivational speaker. And I had never been told that before in my entire life. Because, you think, talking about evangelizing in parishes and you don't know what to do and where you're called to be. You think that you're called to do something, but maybe that's not where your gift is. And so I was like, well, I don't know if that's what we should be doing or not. We got that answer on the 8th day. I told Anthony, I said, I'd like to try to see if I could start something. And I thought he was going to shoot it down. And he's like, yeah, sure. And I want to help. And then our good friend Rocco, I said, hey, I want to start something like this. And he said, yeah, I'll do the video stuff because he was a video communications major in college. And so it kind of just took off from there. And the best thing is that 1 year after starting it, COVID hit. And wow. So all of our, absolutely everything that we wanted to do, live talks, everything kind of shut down besides the digital aspect. And then once COVID, we came out of that, it was all systems go, and it's been a joy ever since.
Wow, that's so cool. Anthony, do you have anything to add on that?
Well, first, let's check to see if my mic works.
There we go. We got you.
Okay, good. Yeah. No, like Dan said, we're teachers. We have some downtime. We had conversions at the same time. And we just kind of realized that we were doing a lot for the Lord as teachers. Dan was teaching theology. I was teaching middle school religion at the time. We noticed we had some nights and some weekends free. And Rocco, our third member of JMJ Missions, has all this video camera lights experience. So, and we would watch YouTube videos of Chris Stefanik. I never know if I'm saying his last name right, by the way. So sorry, Chris. But we would watch these videos and we would look at them and we'd be like, you know what? We can do this. And so we were like, why not? Let's do it. So then Dan said a novena, which I think he just said while I was trying to mess with my mic. But all in all, it's we're really happy to be doing this.
So what are some of the biggest obstacles parishes face today in trying to re-engage their communities and attract new people? What do you see are some of those obstacles?
I think our age group, millennials, I think they're very distant from the faith. Where the older generations, I think it's Gen X, even older than them, they're very devout and they're there, they're filling the pews. But when I look around, I don't see anybody in their late 20s, early 30s. It's just right. Just a generation that's absent. And then also because of that, a trickle down effect, also Gen Z starting to be a little bit absent. So I think there's an oversaturation of information constantly available at our fingertips. And then it makes anything that's not incredibly engaging immediately just kind of fall by the wayside. So it's it's kind of synonymous with music. If a song isn't catchy immediately, right now, there's no chance it's going to be successful. Where back in the day, I'm going to sound like an old grandpa, but you used to listen to the entire album, and you would appreciate it. It would build, and then there would be the climax song was track 5, and so people just don't have the patience anymore. So I think, however, that doesn't mean that we can't find a way to overcome this, because every saint that lived, regardless of generation, had some type of struggle to deal with. And they didn't just like sit back and be like, oh, well, the culture's all messed up, see you later. Like, no, they figured out how to overcome. So that's what we're trying to do.
No, yeah, you guys are doing a great job with that. And it reminded me, I had to clean out my car and I found a bunch of CDs from high school. And it was just that same thing, like, wow, I wish I had a CD player to play these now. Many parishes really seem to be struggling with reaching, I guess, younger generations, like you mentioned, like Gen Z and beyond that. What are some approaches that maybe you've seen have different parishes have proven successful in connecting young people and bringing them back to the church?
Yeah, so our own experience is a good stepping stone for us, because we were privileged to have had a really, really, really vibrant youth group and young adult group when we had our conversion experiences. So I think step one's always prayer. The spiritual always leads into physical results, but outside of having the parish start praying, doing some adoration, things like that, getting the spirituality going, it's hiring a good youth minister, a dynamic youth minister. I really do think it's a big deal, and parishes need to be willing to put forth a little bit of money for it. I really do think someone who can do it full time, hopefully on the younger side, doesn't always have to be, but someone dynamic, exciting, true to the faith, welcoming, right. And then you work from there. You build a parent committee to get some support, to get some grassroots excitement. You market it well. You ask the pastor if he could, hop on board and promote it at Mass, and then it usually builds from there organically. You think of the apostles starting with 12. Jesus started with 12 apostles, and then it's grown into the, what it is today. There's no reason we can't do that one by one at each parish. So I think it does start with a good youth minister, a young adult group, if you can, and build organically from there.
Nice. Anything to add to that, Anthony?
Yeah, no, I just want to piggyback off that. And then the good youth group is huge, and also balance too. Like the kids or the young adults, they need to know that it's fun. Like coming to know the Lord it's enjoyable and it's joyful. Like when you come to these meetings, it's not going to be like really stiff and everyone just kind of stands there like with their hands folded. Like it's loose. There's the Holy Spirit. There's like cupcakes. There's the Bible. It's all like, you need the balance.
Yeah, definitely. So you've been working with a few parishes, to say the least. Do you have any stories of parishes that have undergone like maybe a significant transformation through your work with JMJ Mission?
That's a great question, Dan. If anything's jumping out at you, go for it.
Yeah, I can't think of one specific parish, but in many parishes, what happens is these kids have to go on our confirmation retreats, for example. Yeah. And, their parents make them go. And almost at the beginning of almost every confirmation retreat, these kids are disengaged because that's just how the kids are. But if you play the right cards, if you speak naturally, you speak from the heart, you play some good games with them. And especially at the end, we close every retreat with adoration, Eucharistic adoration. By the end, you have a majority of the kids are touched in some way. And so I think that is really a hopeful sign for us, that if these kids are spiritually, if you push the right button, something ignites in them. Because one good thing about kids and about the youth, even the young adults, is that there's energy there. And even though they're disengaged because of the culture, that energy, God can use that for a lot of good if you push the right buttons. There's also been just parish missions and parish talks that I've done in which people you can just kind of see them come alive. I think especially, again, when it's combined with Eucharistic adoration, I think the bishops were really onto something when they push for this Eucharistic revival, because there's something about combining a talk with some kind of Eucharistic presence, maybe a little music, the right kind of tone, the right kind of setting that can really, ignite somebody and push them along. I think that's what people need. They need to pick me up. They need something to give them a little spark. And then follow that up with prayer and good community.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you want to say anything there, Anthony?
Yeah, and just kind of, again, with what Dan was saying, sometimes, like Dan said, they're disengaged, they're not interested, but by the end, some of them even tear up. And then my favorite part of our ministry, I think the most valuable thing is maybe a week, maybe even a month after certain events, we'll check our inbox and we'll have a DM from a kid and it'll say like, hi guys, you spoke at my confirmation retreat couple of weeks ago. I just want to say I really appreciated it. I was going through XYZ and it meant a lot to me. So like that is just kind of confirmation that what we're doing matters, and that even if they're not, like looking at us smiling like this is amazing, seeds are still being planted. And if that's our tagline is one soul at a time. So if we run an event and there's 100 kids there, and even if one kid is positively impacted to grow closer to God, then it's a job well done.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know it's one of those things where having that mindset of that one soul at a time can be a little bit better than trying to like get as many people as possible, for sure. Now, that for the parish priests or lay leaders or youth ministers out there that might be listening, feeling overwhelmed because there's a whole set of challenges that they come across, that they face, what type of advice would you give them on trying to maybe bring new, maybe not necessarily new people, but maybe teenagers or younger generation?
Yeah, well, the first thing is don't be discouraged. You're doing God's work. No one today, at least, it's not the medieval ages, no one gets into parish work because, for their own gain. You're definitely doing it for the right reasons. And with a good prayer life, you think of John Paul II and all the horrible things he went through, and you think of the new evangelization. He's the one that really championed that, how optimistic, he was. You bring that kind of mentality, good things will flow from it. Be patient. I really do believe in getting a good youth minister. Start some programs up, see what works, see what doesn't, and keep following up everything with prayer. And I cannot, again, stress enough how important it is to get a team of parents or a committee involved to help with the grassroots level marketing and just getting the word out.
Yeah, and then also people love free food. On our first flyer for our young adult group, it was like meeting at the church Monday night, blah, blah, blah. And then at the bottom, in all capital letters, it said free food. So like that's what got my attention.
Yeah, hey, I'm very motivated by food, and I think a lot of other people are too. So that is also very helpful. That's great. Now we got 30 seconds left. We can find more information about how you guys essentially can help revitalize parishes simply by going to JMJmissions.com, and I'm assuming all the other social medias like Instagram, YouTube you mentioned before are all linked from that webpage, jmjmissions.com. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. We really appreciate you. And we'll see you in the After Show Clubhouse, which is coming up. We're transitioning right now on over to. So if you're listening on the radio right now and you're not going to be listening to the Holy Mass coming up next, which if you are, please pray for us. We'll see you. Just search Morning Joy Radio or GRN online, and you'll find us on any of the social medias. We recommend YouTube because we have a beautiful community and you get to interact with us. So make sure to do that. Otherwise, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern here on Morning Joy, where truth matters. But until then, God bless and make it a joyful day. We'll see you.
This has been Morning Joy, where truth matters, hosted by Keith Downey. Take some joy with you today. Visit grnonline.com/joy to listen again, share a segment, or answer the question of the day. That's grnonline.com/joy.